Alright, in this video, I'll be talking about Anhur, the Slayer of Enemies. He is an Egyptian pantheon. Moving into statistics. Anhur is a physical god. He is a hunter. Does a lot of damage. So, health gets 460 to start with, plus 78 per level. 220 mana, plus 35 per level. Physical protections, 11 plus 2.8 per level. 30 magical protections plus 0.9 per level. Attacks per second, 0.9 plus 0.015 per level. And then basic attack damage. He does a lot of basic attack damage with his scaling. 40 damage plus 2.5 per level, standard plus 100%. Moving into his abilities. His passive is called Enfeeble. Any of Anhur's attacks that involve his spear or his spears will and hit will reduce an enemy's physical protection for 3 seconds. It'll do 15. This is constant through every level. It will not increase. It will not decrease. Constant 15 reduction. Very dangerous early game passive. With gods not having a lot of physical protection in the early game, this can be killer. And by spear attacks, it means his basic attacks, his second ability, and his fourth ability will all apply Enfeeble. So now, Anhur's first ability is called Shifting Sands. At a target location, Anhur will erect an obelisk from the ground. The obelisk impedes player movement, and surrounding the obelisk is slowing sand. The sand slow 15 to 35% per, increasing by 5% per level, and these sands will increase the damage of Anhur's basic attacks against any target who's standing inside the sands. This is an extra 4%, scaling up to 20% at level 5. And a very good ability. It lasts for 7 seconds. It's long lasting. That obelisk can really impede movement. And it's really good. It's a really good ability. Cooldown 14 seconds. Cost 60 to 80 mana, increasing by 5 per level. Very good ability, more of just sort of in your face kind of disengage, engage, middle of the fight ability. It doesn't do any damage, but if you can hit autos while someone's standing inside it, it will do a lot of damage. So now, Anhur's second ability is called Impale. Anhur will throw a spear in front of him. It will penetrate through any minion, but as soon as it hits a god, it will deal damage to the god and knock them back. If the god is knocked back into a wall or a solid object, so like Anhur's obelisk counts for this, it will stun them. So now, ignore this little part right here. This is actually being buffed in a patch that's happening in about a few days. I couldn't make this video after the patch, but I just want to warn you. This has been taken out. It does full damage even if it goes through another enemy now. So now, Anhur's Impale does a lot of damage. It starts at 90 damage, goes up to 350, plus 80% of his physical power. It goes up by 65 per level, and for a normal ability, that's a lot of damage. And its stun duration will also increase. 1.1 to 1.5 seconds, increased by 0.1 per level. 1.5 seconds is deadly. That's a lot of damage. And with hunters who build a lot of attack speed, that's 2 free basics into an enemy, which is bad if you're the enemy. So now cooldown 12 seconds. Costs 70 to 110 mana. It costs a lot of mana, but it's a very good ability. So now Anhur's third ability is his escape, Disperse. Anhur will jump into the air and then land at a target location. When he lands, he'll do damage and knock back any enemy in the radius where he lands. So it's a really good way to escape because enemies can't necessarily stand where you're going to land, or else they'll be sent backwards, and it really kind of sucks. So it doesn't do a lot of damage. 50 to 210, plus 40 per level, plus 60% of your physical power. It's not really used for the damage, though. It's more used to get out of there. It's a leap, so it can get over walls. You can jump through a wall. Disorienting if you don't understand Smite's sort of viewpoint. You're over the shoulder. So now, cooldown. 15-second cooldown. Pretty standard. Its mana cost 60 to 80, plus 5 per level, which is 5 mana per level of the ability. Very standard. Very good escape. I like it. I think it's a really good escape, one of the better ones in the game. So now, Anhur's ultimate, very interesting one. It's called Desert Fury. Anhur will become CC immune for the entire duration, and he'll throw eight. I almost call them machine guns because that's essentially what the ability is. Throw 8 spears in a rapid fashion in front of him. These spears are very mystical. They'll go through anything: walls, people, minions, his obelisk. It'll go through anything, and they'll penetrate it. Each spear will apply Enfeeble. I forgot to mention, Impale will apply Enfeeble if it hits someone. And it does a lot of damage. Each spear will do 60 to 160 damage, plus 15 per level, plus 15% physical power, and he throws 8 spears. If all 8 spears hit early game, that's 480 damage potentially at level 5. It's a lot. So now, cooldown 90 seconds, mana cost 80 to 120. Told you this 90-second cooldown, very standard for most gods with their ultimates. Desert Fury, very dangerous, very potent early game. Kind of drops off a little late game just due to how hard it is to actually reliably hit 8 spears that you're firing very rapidly. You don't really have control exactly when they fire. You just have control of when you start, and where they go. But they kind of are a little delayed. But this can do a lot of damage if you can aim, and it's very deadly early game. So I went over Muzenkob previously. Anhur's also a hunter, very similar build. Start with Bluestone, go into Spike Gauntlet, build that Spike Gauntlet into your Devourer's Gauntlet. You go into Ninja Tabi. Now, from there, Anhur does really well with Ichaival, and I like going that before this Executioner because Anhur needs attack speed. He doesn't get as much as other hunters, and he already has passive physical protection reduction. So this Executioner isn't as necessary early as most other hunters, and Ichaival really makes Anhur more of a pain to box. It turns on from a god that you don't want to box to, if you're a physical god, avoid at all costs, or else he will kill you. Because Ichaival will take your power, give it to him, and since he's already reducing your protections, he's going to do a lot of damage to you if you're not careful. And that 30% increase in his attack speed is just massive, and it's really good for him. So now, after that, you definitely want to go into the Rage. Or you can go into Executioner, especially if you're really ahead and they got a few tankier targets. Executioner is a good pickup because it allows you to deal with them and makes it so that you don't need the crits as early if you're ahead, because you're just going to put someone in a wall and kill them quickly with attack speed. They're not going to be able to fight you. After that, but if you're behind, you definitely need to go into Rage. Anhur's not a good god from if you're behind the other hunter, and you can really drop off quickly just because your attacks aren't as dangerous because you don't have a built-in steroid. So Rage, get your crit chance. If you're behind, this can put you ahead pretty quickly. If you can get some good RNG, or if you're RNG, just who knows, you might be. But this will allow you to get back in the game if you're falling behind. After Rage, no matter where you build it, you definitely want your Deathbringer. Gives you a massive damage spike, really good, necessary for any hunter who wants to build a crit. And then after Deathbringer, if you haven't built your Executioner already, build your Executioner. If you already have it, your build is pretty much done at that point. You would have sold your Bluestone, and your build's done. But you definitely want to go with that, just so that you can deal with everything. Once again, actives, beads, sprint, they're the standard for every hunter. You need them, or else you're pretty much dead. It kind of sucks. So, every hunter you want beads and sprint. These are necessary. These are non-negotiable items. Buy them. Don't think you're cool. You're not. And then skins. Standard on her, diamond, golden, legendary. Jungle King is his recolor. Times turns more green from his normal orangish color scheme. And then Olympian. On her, spear turns into a javelin. He'll gain track shorts, an Olympic jersey, and a little nice headband. It doesn't change his voice, but it makes him look kind of cool, I guess. Um, so, anyway, I didn't do this with Agni and the Musenkab, and I'm a little embarrassed with myself for not doing it, because I thought this was a great idea. But you're leveling. So remember, passives you don't have to level. You have to level all these abilities. So level 1, you definitely want Impale if everything goes right. This is your only form of Wave Clear. It's not great. It gets much better as soon as it's buffed. But it's your best ability. After that, you want to go into the Disperse so that you can escape. So remember, level 1, Impale. Level 2, Disperse. At level 3, what I like doing is I like getting a second level into Impale. Just because this damage spike is really high. It does a lot of damage. If level 3, level 4, level 5, that's where you're going to be doing a lot of fighting in lane. And you need as much damage with Impale as you can get. At level 4, I like taking Shifting Sands. You're going to be able to set up your own stuns if you're not close to walls. Because the obelisk that Shifting Sands summons counts as a wall. Impale stun. The Impale into obelisk is a standard combo for Anhurs. And if you're good at him, you're going to land it. If you're bad, well, look for a wall. They're everywhere. At level 5, you want to go definitely into Desert Fury. The potential there is massive, and if you can get someone into a wall and stun them, you're going to hit and get all 8 spears into them. They're going to die. No questions asked. They're dead. It's 100-0, dead. First blood potentially, or at least a kill, puts you ahead. Anhur is evil when ahead. You can't fight him. Now, level 6, Impale. Level 7, Impale. Level 8, you can either save the points so that you can get the 5th level of Impale and an extra level in Desert Fury at level 9, or put it into Shifting Sands. Disperse isn't really a scaling ability, and you want your escapes as low mana as you can so that you don't run out before you can escape. Shifting Sands, this damage buff and the slow, Anhur doesn't really have a great kit outside of an Impale with scaling. Shifting Sands is the second best scaling that you're going to get from your normal ability, so you might as well just do it. Then, same story, keep leveling Shifting Sands, taking points in Desert Fury whenever they're available. Ultimates aren't available every level. After Shifting Sands is done, you finish Disperse, you finish Desert Fury, you hit level 20, you're done. Alright, that is Anhur.